Well, hi everyone. So I've finally had the opportunity to do some test shooting on all the recent acquisitions that I've done videos about, except of course the Berdan, just because of the ammo situation, and I still haven't gotten around to repairing the stock yet either. But so we may see a little bit on that later, if that ever comes to fruition. Other than that, it's probably one of the last videos you'll see from me for a while. Basically, the only reason I even started making any of these was that, I stumbled on other people's videos about this stuff, and I made a comment about, oh, I bought one of those things too, and here's what it was like for me. And somebody, I don't even remember who at this point, said, oh, you should make a video. And so I figured, yeah, actually, it's probably not a bad idea, for, help out people that have a common interest in this kind of stuff. And just to kind of show them, oh, this is what I got, and this is another kind of, piece of data that would show you this is what you can expect if you buy one too. Um, so pretty much, I don't know that I have all that much left to say after that. But in any case, there we go. So yeah, let's I guess go through them all. I'll be inserting pictures of targets and that sort of thing. Just kind of a caveat or a little bit of an excuse, I suppose, for my poor marksmanship is when I finally got a chance to shoot. As I'd mentioned in some previous videos, I tend to go to the state forests, the logging roads, and this particular weekend, it was actually really very cold and windy out there. It was, well below freezing. By the time that I got my target set up, my hands were already numb. I know it all sounds very excusey. I don't think the results were too bad despite all that, but probably would have been better under better circumstances, or, whether, or, if I had been, had a bench rest set up instead of just kind of going for it. I guess my thing is that, this was a little bit more of a function test. Do they seem to work safely and all that stuff? And can I hit anything with it? And, anything beyond that is maybe almost expecting too much from these things. But we'll see as we get into that. In any case, this was all fired at 50 yards. Basically, everything that is available as far as ammunition goes was the, PPU. In the case of the Carcanos, it was the soft point 123 grain. The 8mm Mauser would have been just your standard full metal jacket. That's just so you know the information, at what range and what ammo I was using. So I guess let's kind of go through some of these. So the first one that I tested, after having set up the targets and, my hands were nice and numb from the bitter cold, was the Car 98K Yugo refurb. So you should probably watch my original two videos on this one. This is, it showed up broken. The bolt face was partially broken away, and the firing pin was chewed up, and it was kind of a struggle to get Classic to respond to that. Classic being who I ordered this from. Let's kind of look at the target. As you can see, there's kind of some stringing going on, and I would bet that a significant portion of that, of course, is me, but at least it's not keyholing. It seems to, be fairly true on, for the most part. It's on the paper. Again, this was with the PPU full metal jacket stuff. So now that now that I've determined that it shoots okay, I've also since then kind of touched up the front end. So originally this whole thing was in the white. It looks a little more gray now. This is just to get it to match the rest of the gun. I didn't want to do like a, really deep blue that would look almost wouldn't match the rest of the gun being also kind of not in, well, yeah, fairly worn shape, I guess I'll say. The barrel band, by the way, I also replaced. So the original one that you may have noticed in the first two videos was this skinnier one that was off of a different model of Mauser. That isn't actually what it came with originally. So originally it came with one that looked like this, but they had pounded it into shape. So this is there's some rust on this one. But they pounded it into shape, the same oval shape, but had this sling bar on the bottom, because they seem to have preferred things kind of being underslung, and so it wasn't original to the gun. The serial number on it didn't match anyways, but I figured I just wanted it to look a little more original, so I replaced that as well. I also got a cleaning rod. By the way, the nut that the cleaning rod screws into, the threads in there were completely stripped away as well, so I had to replace that so that the cleaning rod would stay in place. That's just something else pretty minor I didn't notice at the time, but That's because I didn't bother with the cleaning rod, of course, until I knew that this gun would actually even shoot okay. So anyways, now that it looks fairly okay and it shoots okay, would I recommend that you get one? And of course, the answer is absolutely not, because yes, this was a pretty cheap for a German-made Mauser, in today's market. But at the same time, the cost and the trouble to get it to work was such that it probably would have been just better getting like something like a Russian capture Mauser. Ended up with a much nicer example than what this was, and have done that with less headaches. And so these things tend to come in batches, it seems like. So I know, Classic got a batch, then it sold out, then they listed it again, and then it happened. And so three times over, this sort of thing goes on. And the same thing happened with Royal Tiger. So if more of these come in, I would say don't do it. And not just these, but it seems like the vast majority of the Mausers that I've seen actually reviewed on videos, none of them were like, okay right out of the box, and all you needed was a cleaning and you're good to go. Like they've all had something, either broken parts or, the bore looks like a sewer pipe, and all of them pretty much, I think with very few exceptions. I've seen maybe one positive review that seemed okay out of, I don't know, probably more than 10 easily, of various models, of course. There's the Giveo 98s from like the World War I era guns, and then some of the earlier examples, some of the later ones that are like the Czech ones. In any case, for the most part, people don't seem to be happy with these, no matter which model. So I would say I would caution you to avoid them in general if they're from this Ethiopian stockpile. The other thing to bear in mind is that the reviews on the websites when they sell these, they tend to be censored. So I know that Classic did that to me with this one, and reliable people are saying that Royal Tiger does the same thing to theirs. Basically scrubbing bad reviews, either not allowing them on there or allowing them for a little bit, and then somebody comes in and cleans it all up, because the reviews on the website seem to be overwhelmingly positive, and I kind of wondered how could that be, given that everybody who's bothered to put theirs on video has doesn't seem to have a very good experience at all. I'd say mixed at best. So that's kind of what goes on with that. It's not a very good business practice, obviously, and so it's another reason to be cautious, because I'm thinking that for if those positive reviews are even real, there's got to be 20 negative ones for every positive one that must be getting scrubbed. So basically, whether it's any of the Mausers, I would say probably better to stay away from. Just go find another one elsewhere that either on Gunbroker, or you go into any gun shop. It seems like they all have some variety or another. So you may pay more, you may not. It depends, of course. Initially maybe these will cost less, but by the time you get done fixing them up, they cost more. So yeah, don't do it. Don't recommend it. So somewhat unsurprisingly, I guess the best outcome was from the 9124 that I bought from Buds. So basically, after kind of freezing for a bit for the first test, I decided to jump back into the 4x4 and warm up a little bit, and hopes of getting better results, and it seems to have worked. These results, I'll post them right now. You can see, not bad at all. These, no keyholing whatsoever, even with the 123 grain undersized PPU soft points. We got one flyer, of course, but no, I am super pleased with the way this gun shoots. Incidentally, I did use the single shot insert for this thing, which I really enjoyed using in practice, compared to fiddling around with the aftermarket clips and the feeding issues that sometimes those produce. So I almost feel like I should buy at least a couple more, so that I don't have to keep switching them in and out of the different Carcanos that I have. So A+ on that. But in any case, the gun did really well. This is one of the alternatives that are out there to the Royal Tiger supply that imported by IO. There's, again, some debate as to where these come from. Some people think that they're from Ethiopia, or some part of Africa anyways, like the rest. Maybe true, maybe not. They're clearly stored in different conditions than the Royal Tiger supply. They're generally better. Now, as I had mentioned previously, some people are disappointed even with the PW Arms import stuff like this one. They just say the same sort of things that a lot of people have been saying about the Royal Tiger stuff, that this is pretty much a wall hanger, which does happen. I'm not denying that those people are just, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Some of them maybe don't, but I'm sure there are some people who do. And yeah, that's kind of a chance you do take with surplus. But for the most part, I think your odds are much, much higher if you're ordering one of these things. So I would say if you're getting the PW Arms imports, maybe 1 in 10 people get something that they're, unhappy with, compared to, you know, basically the ratio is probably about reversed for the Ethiopian stuff. So you're not guaranteed, as I'm saying, but at least you're far more likely to get better results. So this one I'm really quite happy with. Um, Absolutely would recommend getting one of these. Again, do bear in mind there is a small chance that you may be disappointed anyways, but no, much better buy. I would say definitely go for it. And next up we have our 1891 Cavalry Carbine from Royal Tiger. This is the really early one that before they even added a handguard. It's kind of unusual because even the ones that were made without them were eventually retrofitted, so the fact that this one somehow escaped that is pretty odd. I don't know how that would have occurred necessarily, but my original theory was that perhaps this was used in the first Italo-Ethiopian War back in the 1890s. This rifle would have existed, but and perhaps it got captured, put into Italian hands, or Ethiopian hands rather, and that could be why it escaped that. But then again, some people say that no Carcanos were used in that first war, and so maybe that theory doesn't hold water. But for whatever reason, it is what it is. It's kind of beside the point. But anyways, as far as how it shoots, we can take a look at the target here. As you can see, it's a little bit all over the place, but again, I don't profess to be an excellent shot, and there were extenuating circumstances. It was extremely cold. This is also with the PPU 123 grain soft points, so the slightly undersized ammunition. Some of these hits almost look like they're starting to keyhole. They're not hitting utterly sideways like my 9124 from Royal Tiger was at the same range, so it's a little better in that regard. And part of this could be, though, that it was actually, as windy as it was, the target stand got shifted actually so that it was somewhat at an angle, and perhaps I, should have called it and straightened it back out, but I decided to let's just, keep trying, and so that could be part of why some of these look a little keyholed. I suspect that it would do better, of course, with properly sized ammunition, because it's already doing, not terribly badly with the undersized stuff. So that's it's okay. Would I recommend you buy it? I would say probably not. This one also has a bit of a feeding issue, as you saw in my the review of the single shot insert. But that's not really the biggest issue. I would say that one of the things to consider is that at the time that this was purchased, there really weren't too many. I don't think there were any other like primary market retailers that were selling this exact model. You could have gone to Gunbroker and picked one up there. But since then, a lot of them have hit the market. So these are places from like Buds, I believe, has them. J&G, probably some others. Classic as well, although I don't recommend them for other reasons. Royal Tiger probably isn't the most recommend worthy business either, but that's I've had decent experience with Royal Tiger thus far, so I personally can't complain, but I know other people have not. But in any case, because there are so many options that are going to be the same cost or better, I would suggest going that route, and you're just going to get something that looks a lot better, probably works a little better too. I know that some of this second batch, wherever it comes from, there are people who are disappointed with those as well. It's not like 100% of them are beautiful and wonderful, but they tend to be better than these. And so I would say this one worked out okay for me. The feeding issue might get squared away. I'll have to see if I can figure something out there, but I personally wouldn't recommend it, just on the basis of the fact that there are just better choices out there for equally good prices, if not a little better. But yeah, that's that one. Well, I guess that's about all. I don't know that I have too much left to say, at least until the next batch of cool stuff hits the country, and then of course I may jump into that and make some videos on that if that occurs. But just wanted to thank you, for your attention, your questions, comments, etc. It's been fun, it's been interesting, and yeah, thank you.